Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Zosha Petrovsky, and I'm happy that you've made the time to join me today to extend your knowledge and embark on our wellness education series. This is one of our many, many series of sessions, and you may have already heard some amazing education series. So fantastic that you can join me today. Today, we're actually going to go a little bit deep into women's health and hormones. And I'm so happy to take you through this journey because for me personally, it's been a massive journey through my life, understanding how and what's happening within my body and understand the varying chapters of my life and how I can actually feel better through those chapters. I have a background in exercise science and sports science, and I've been working in the world of fitness and wellness for many, many years. And I am also a health coach. So I'm very, very passionate about nutrition and understanding all facets of the body, mentally and physically. So hopefully today I can share my knowledge with you and get you to understand a bit more about your body. You know, it's interesting, in my early teens, actually, I embarked on sort of the vigorous stages of my exercise addiction, I can sort of say. I was a dancer, I was a runner, I loved every aspect of physicality. And to be fair, I was very strong in those early teenage years and early 20s. However, probably just overdoing it in general. I seem to be that kind of personality where I tend to do things to the max. I'm learning as I'm getting older. But, it's interesting for us in women's health and hormones is to just think, where are you in that chapter? Or where are you in that journey? And for me in my 20s, I learned very, very quickly that if I sort of overdid it, my whole system went into a little bit of sort of a imbalance as such. And because of that, then I was affected a lot through my fatigue. I had chronic fatigue in my 20s, glandular fever, and then I had lots of gut problems. And so it's been a long journey really to understand how to fix all these challenges. But the great thing is that is fixable. Your body is incredible. It's able to heal. And what I love the most is that the doTERRA products are incredible in supporting us in this journey, whatever it may be, whether it's health, nutrition, all those aspects. So particularly today, let's zoom in on women's health and hormones. I think hormones get a bit of a bad rap. Usually when we talk about hormones, it's a bit negative, but you know what? Without these hormones, our systems just wouldn't operate. And so let's just take a little focus on your health at the moment. You could be in a varying chapter of your life. You could be in your 20s, suffering from painful periods or irregularity in your periods. You could be ready to or wanting to conceive and have a baby, needing to, maybe you can't conceive, or maybe you've had your baby and now you're going postnatal and needing to rejig the system to refuel and re-put all the nutrients back in. You could be perimenopausal, postmenopausal. So just have a little moment now. And I'm going to take you through this little great sort of questionnaire so that you can just have a little think about your situation. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you've got no symptoms and 10 being that they're massive symptoms, out of control, think about something like your monthly cycle. Is it regular? Is it irregular? Has it totally gone? So that's a sort of an interesting facet, and there's many of those chapters in our lives that we sort of I've spent most of my life thinking, I wish I didn't have my period, and now of course it's slowly going. I'm like, oh, actually I need it, I want it back. So and there's different sort of symptoms that happen along that way. They don't necessarily have to be symptoms that are negative. So you might actually, everything might be very smooth sailing, which is fantastic. If you're peri or postmenopausal, what are your symptoms like? Are you really suffering? Are you having a really hard time? Are you having night sweats? Are you not able to sleep? Are you putting on weight unnecessarily or no, without actually any reason? So all of these things are very interesting to take note. And then I want you to have a little read of number 2. and all these list of conditions that may be affecting you. These are areas of hormone balance that may be difficult for you. So we might have hyper or hypothyroid, the thyroid gland. We will take a little deeper dive later about this, is responsible for metabolism, which is responsible for how you burn energy effectively. So hyper is where the thyroid is very, very active. Hypo is very underactive. So you might be losing weight or you might be gaining weight. Adrenal fatigue. This is definitely what happened to me in my 20s and 30s, where I sort of hit a wall. And when we think about the adrenal glands, we'll go into the endocrine system in a moment, but the adrenals produce cortisol. And cortisol is very important because it gives us the get up and go in the day. However, if you're constantly get up and going, if you're constantly pushing, which I particularly was in my 20s and 30s, and maybe a little in my 40s as well, then what ends up happening is your body just continually keeps producing cortisol. And so it's actually almost like you're constantly running a marathon. So you can imagine that after a while, that's just not possible to maintain. And we'll go through a few of those things. That could definitely be you. Difficulty losing weight. This is also part of the adrenal thyroid family. Mood swings. Look, mood swings happen, I think, from teenage years. I could remember, being menstrual and causing a lot of havoc for my poor mother. And to be fair, we all have had that sort of patch, maybe pre periods through our life. And the great thing is that actually it's preventable. And I will show you some amazing products that can help you. Have you had trouble sleeping, infertility, poor memory, which is often talked about for women who are perimenopausal or postmenopausal, even post-baby, after you've had your child, you might have that concept of the baby brain. We all know what that's like. I crashed my car 3 times after I had my son. I don't know if it was baby brain. I think I was just so tired from feeding him 7 times a day from my bosoms. But yes, definitely the memory wasn't so fantastic then. But we can talk about this, and doTERRA has some amazing products that can really help. Type 2 diabetes, which actually gestational diabetes can happen through your pregnancy. Type 2 diabetes can happen at any stage in your life, can be because of hormonal imbalance, could be diet and lifestyle. And then there also could be other areas of hormone balance that might be challenging for you that are not here on the list. But just take a little time now. You can write that down. And you can, sadly, you are not here with me. We cannot discuss this, but it gets you to write things down. I always think when I write things down, I look at it a lot clearly and I think, oh my goodness, I am tired. I am suffering mood swings. I have got this and that and this. And then you think, you know what, maybe I am feeling a bit out of whack and I need to sort of address it. So you're already here. We are already addressing it. Brilliant. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're talking about hormones. So exactly what are hormones? Hormones are chemical messengers that really affect all sorts of function in the body. They're responsible for heart rate, maintaining heart rate, temperature, body temperature, our mood, our blood sugar, our fertility, our sleep. So if we have a look at this little diagram, and you can see the endocrine system is basically just a system of glands that produce these hormones and these chemical messengers that help keep the body in what we call homeostasis. So homeostasis just means balance. So endocrine system has a massive role in the body. If we take a look at all these glands that we've got the hypothalamus, we've got the pituitary gland, you've got the pineal gland. The hypothalamus is extremely important for maintaining our regulating body temperature. The pituitary gland is very important for growth and for regulating stress, also for reproduction. The pineal gland is important for melatonin, which actually is sort of the opposite of cortisol that I spoke about before, helps you unwind. Then thyroid, I mentioned before, is responsible for metabolism. The pancreas is responsible for producing insulin, which regulates blood sugar. The ovaries are responsible for producing estrogen and progesterone. Testicles in the male are also responsible for producing testosterone. The placenta also has estrogen. So, you've got a lot going on, the endocrine system. So I sort of think of each of these individual areas as being like a call center. They have a role, and you sort of call them up and say, hey, adrenals, produce a bit of cortisol. We need this now. Okay, no problem. So all these guys need to be talking to each other. If they're working together, then we have everything in balance, and actually everything is quite smooth. However, if something is a little bit off, then all of these are not talking, or either someone's talking too much and someone's not talking enough. So this is important for us as women and men. I don't talk about hormones so much with men, but you know what? If you've got a teenage boy at the moment, you'll understand hormones, and also men do go through, I think, a little bit of hormonal shift monthly as well. They can be moody buggers also. So a lot of these things, even though I apply them to women, secretly you can apply them to your male friends and partners and sons and husbands, all that jazz. So for us, particularly with doTERRA, I think understanding that essential oils can be extremely beneficial because they help to affect the cells, and they then can help to balance out the hormones and improve our health. Okay, so let's have a look firstly at an amazing product that doTERRA has. Look, when I think about women and I think about why often our hormones are out of whack, the first thing I go to is nutrition and diet. So what actually are you putting into your body? What is happening in your system? And are you actually feeding your system effectively? If you are, then you probably are thinking, when we were looking at that chart before, you might be thinking, actually, you know what? I'm pretty good. I don't have a lot of these hormone imbalances or these issues that are on this chart. That's brilliant. That must mean that already your diet and maybe your nutrition is sound. However, I know even for myself, I am totally obsessed with nutrition. I'm totally obsessed with nutrients and how they can add to us and benefit to not only myself, but to my family. And so I often think about nutrition. The food that we eat often gives us what we call the recommended daily amounts. So the recommended daily amounts, for some people, you think, oh, good, tick. I've got a little bit of vitamin C, tick. I've got the recommended, or not little, the recommended amount of vitamin C. That's great. That will get us by in our day. However, we need, and what we're looking for is optimal health. And for us to have optimal health, we need some help, because actually, the nutrients that we're receiving from the actual food, it can be good, but we're actually not that sure whether or not the kale that I bought from the supermarket is giving me all the vitamins that I need, all the iron that I need, all the protein that I need. So that's where doTERRA's amazing products come in handy, and particularly this product that I want to talk to you about, the Lifelong Vitality supplements. So there's 3, I've got them here with me, 3 fantastic little bottles of goodness. And, I have been working in the field of nutrition for over 30 years. And to be honest with you, I have spent a lot of time dissecting and looking at nutrients, looking at supplements, and I've gone through patches of we don't need supplements and patches of yes, we need certain supplements, or we need a specific supplement. But actually, the way that our body works best and our immune works best is when we have a complete system of nutrients, because vitamins and minerals do not work singularly, they work together. And what doTERRA has done beautifully with these Lifelong Vitality supplements is they've created an amazing combination of nutrition that's like a food that your body receives like food. So let's just have a look at the first one, which is the purple one. It's the Alpha CRX, and it's a cellular vitality complex. And it is an awesome combination of some great nutrients in here. So we've got like a cellular longevity blend, and you've got things like Botswana, which is your frankincense, a form of frankincense. You've got milk thistle. You've got resveratrol, pomegranate, green tea leaf extract, which is incredible for anti-inflammatory benefits. So you've also got a cellular energy blend in here, which has got quercetin, which is sort of a hot nutrient, nutrient at the moment, and also coenzyme Q10, ginkgo biloba. Fantastic, that alpha CRX. Another thing I want to tell you about these supplements is that they've got tummy tamers in there. So you can take them on an empty stomach. Brilliant. That's the purple one. I love that one. Then the microplex is your food. I sort of think of this as veggies in a little bottle. And in here, you've got all your nutrients that you need, like your vitamins, vitamin A, C, D3, E, K, really super. Your zinc, selenium, super important. All of these are important to work together, because then your body can absorb these and can work to improve, your cellular rejuvenation, if I can say that. And then polyphenols, which is sort of a very hot topic at the moment, because this is really what can help our immunity. And immunity is a really big topic for us as women. We are constantly on the go. I know what women have, and things like polyphenols are extremely important for us to get back that energy and to get back the nutrients. So that's that wonderful food nutrient, Microplex MVP. And then we have the EXEO Mega, which is basically your omega oils. And these are awesome. These, I think, are a great combination of all the kind of oils that you need. We say the EPA, the DHA, and the fish oil is, it's important for so many aspects. As a woman, we love the concept of having beauty and skin and looking good. These fish oils, I always say, if you've got good skin, if you've got fish oils, you've got good skin. If you've got good fish oils, you've got good memory, you've got good brain function. We need oils. Sadly, with oils and fats have been given a bad press, from years before, but you need oil in your life. So this is fantastic. And I'm very conscious about where oil and fish oils come from in the world. And you can be very happy with doTERRA that they've actually sourced these oils from Peru, very clean waters, and they're mainly from an anchovy, sardine, and mackerel fish, which is a small fish, which is brilliant. So it doesn't take heavy metals and mercury, which you might find in some fish oils that are from larger fish. Oh my goodness, I'm breathless after these three. So the lifelong vitality, how does this make a difference for women's health? Why does it make a difference? It makes a difference because you need not just recommended daily amounts, you need optimal health. And I would start with this first. Let me tell you something. I have found quite profound benefits with these, not only with myself, but with many of my clients, because they're a great food source. So people find that energy is what the result is very immediately. But I have put my daughter and my son, who are teenagers, onto a very low dosage of this as well, just to balance out their hormones and also just to give them extra nutrients. I wish my kids were fabulous at eating vegetables and fabulous at not eating sugar and starches, but they sneak it in. And so I need to keep plugging them with some extra nutrients. There are some great vitamins for younger kids, but these ones, particularly for teenage girls. So think about this. You've got a much lower dosage than what is recommended, but it's really beneficial to get those nutrients in. Normally, I would ask if you have any questions, but unfortunately, we're not there together, but I'm sure you have got questions. So hang in there. We're pushing through. Let's now look at caring for your liver. So why is it important for us to care for our liver, and what relationship has the liver got in regard to female health and hormones? Well, it's massive, because the liver is our filter. And I always say, love your liver. If you don't love your liver's not going to love you. And, we sort of know that. We know, you shouldn't be drinking too much alcohol, and you should be looking after your diet and all of that jazz. But actually, the thing is with the liver is it has a huge role. And if you overflood your system with, let's say, toxins, we'll go into a little bit more detail into that in a second, but toxins from all sorts, from whether the products that you use or the pollutants in the city that you live in or the area that you live in. There's pollutants in the water. The list goes on. So your system is having to deal with a lot anyway. And then you add extra to it. It means that then the liver is trying to break down the toxins when actually should be working to break down the hormones and effectively breaking those down so that then you can carry on and be fit and healthy. So if the liver is overloaded and it's got too much work, what ends up happening is it puts the toxins back into your system, which is extremely unhealthy. So I sort of think of it like a sifter. You know, when you've got flour and you're trying to sift flour and it all becomes clogged, and then you get this overload in your sifter. That's exactly what happens with your liver. And then it pushes the toxins back into your system, and you feel absolutely lousy. So for a lot of my female clients, the first thing I look at is liver function. So how do we help the liver? Well, firstly, drink plenty of water, absorbable water, not just, yes, water from the tap, but absorbable water through vegetables, which is super, super important so that you're taking them in, digesting that water as well. So, in your water, what you could be doing is putting a drop of lemon, and then your body will absorb. doTERRA's lemon is absolutely wonderful. And another one of my favorite, and I have it here, is the Slim and Sassy, which, you know what, I have grown to love this oil. It's absolutely wonderful. It has grapefruit oil, lemon oil, peppermint oil, ginger, and cinnamon. And particularly this oil is brilliant at managing blood sugar levels. So that doesn't mean that you can go off and, chomp away on some chocolate and then just slug a bit of water with Slim and Sassy. No, no, no. You do, of course, have to manage yourself, but this is brilliant. If you feel like you have sugar cravings, I always say, why do you feel like you have sugar cravings? What's going on with your system? But this is a very good way to just balance you out and stop your mind from thinking about it. Sometimes it's just habit. Yeah, your body needs the sugar. It's a habit because you've got used to doing that, or used to taking or having that sugar in the afternoon. So instead, get yourself a glass of water. I have one here, and I put a couple of drops of the Slim and Sassy in there. If you don't like the taste, doTERRA is very smart and does Slim and Sassy in some soft gels as well. But this is great for you to absorb the water, help your liver break down, any of the clogging that it has, and help it do its job essentially. So I just love the Slim and Sassy. And then we've got the Zendocrine and the Zendocrine detoxification blend. So you've got two different types here. So I would take the Zendocrine if you are going on to, you're really looking to look after your liver, or you've got some conditions that you really, for example, painful periods, premenopause and postmenopause, particularly perimenopause. This is where you really need to look at your liver. And also if you're just about to or wanting to conceive, sort the liver out first. Zendocrine, the actual complex, is amazing. It has psyllium husk, kelp, berberry, root extract, milk thistle, lots of great goodies in here. And what they do is they're like helpers. So they say to the liver, you know what, we're going to help you out. We're going to give you a little bit of a chance and help to unblock a lot of those toxins. The Zendocrine oil, let me just talk to you about that. Has got juniper berry in there, which I am a massive fan of juniper berry. And juniper berry, what it does is to help not only the liver, but actually the juniper berry can help your kidneys. So I know for a lot of women that sometimes they can, and often it's just because their system is just too overloaded, maybe too much stress, the food maybe is not appropriate. And what that Zendocrine oil does is it really helps to soothe and help your kidneys. So I know a lot of clients come to me with UTIs, urinary tract infections, and this is a regular sort of situation. And they say, how do I, help myself here? The doctors put me on antibiotics. The antibiotics are just stripping your gut biome. Actually, what you need to do is go diet first, sort out the starches and the sugars, get those out, start eating clean, get some toxins out, do our doTERRA cleanse. That's another wonderful thing. You can ask your your person who sort of introduced you to doTERRA about that. But this is where your Zendocrine can really, really help you. And I usually just rub the Zendocrine on the kidneys, diluted, of course, and that can really help to support you through any challenges that you have with your kidneys and urinary tract. Oh, sounding good. So many questions I'm sure you have, but hopefully I'm answering them as we go along. Okay, so now I want to sort of talk about adrenals. And I had a little chat about this before. So the adrenals are extremely important because they produce cortisol, which we actually say is the stress hormone. And fantastic, gives you the get up and go. However, you have too much cortisol, what it does is it prevents or blocks progesterone. And progesterone is extremely important because it has to work with estrogen to keep your hormones in balance. And so, if you have too much cortisol in your system, that means you're not producing enough progesterone. And this then can possibly cause issues with your monthly cycle and in just how that cycle is. So because of that, if we block progesterone, we're also breaking down our immune system. And if we're breaking down our immune system, we're also going to start affecting our digestion, because too much cortisol in the system means that we are constantly in what we call the sympathetic nervous system. So the flight or the fright system. So, and when we are in the flight or fright system, then actually our digestion does not work, because for our digestion to be effective, we need to be in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of the sympathetic nervous system. Are you confused? So, often when clients come to me and they say, I'm super stressed, I'm not going to the toilet, or I go to the toilet once a week or once every 5 days, this is already big stress. This is, your system is now, not only are you constantly stressed out, your digestive system is not working. So it means you're holding onto a lot of those toxins. And then remember, we were saying, if we've got lots of toxins in the system, how can our hormones be in balance then? Then the endocrine system has a lot of work, and those glands might even shut down. So this is what we often see with adrenal fatigue. So please look after your adrenals. First and foremost, rest. First and foremost, sleep. This is extremely important for us. And so what I love to add to our daily routine is the combination of magnolia. Magnolia is so great because what it does is to help to soothe you and to chill out the adrenals. It's almost like giving them a little bit of a hug, saying, hey, adrenals, it's okay. You don't have to produce so much of that cortisol. Just chill out a little bit. So I would apply magnolia directly onto my adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands, if you now take your hands onto the rib cage and just palpate the very, very bottom of your rib cage at your back. So take your thumbs, put them on your lower back, and see if you can just find the last rib there on your lower back, and then just press your thumbs down underneath that rib cage. That is the site just where your kidneys are and also where your adrenal glands are. So at nighttime would be perfect for you to put this onto your adrenal glands. And also in the morning, I would also put the magnolia there. And then just to give you a little bit of assistance and a little bit of help, the Mito 2 Max is a super supplement. It says to give you energy and stamina. There's some great little things in the Mito 2 Max. And the reason why it's so fantastic is for a lot of, particularly women, as we're going through peri and post-menopause, I hear a lot of, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. And so usually what we often turn to is we turn to coffee and tea and stimulants, all those things to keep us going. However, what they will do is to affect the adrenals again and to produce more cortisol. We don't want that. So the Mito 2 Max is, I don't want to say it's a coffee, but what it can do is take away the need for the coffee. So taking that maybe in the morning is effective. I've often found that for some women, taking this sort of later in the evening can also help, because it can help to get them to stimulate their melatonin, and to manage that whole energy and stamina. So you will need to take this, challenge yourself and see how the Mito 2 Max works best for you. Generally, we say taking it during the day, but it has incredible support. So take a look into that. Other great oils that can help your adrenals are basil, lemongrass, ylang ylang, grapefruit, and bergamot, which is really, really beautiful. Okay, let's move on. Just come back. I just want to very quickly just say something to you, because magnolia, if you're sort of thinking about oils that help to calm you, you might sort of say to me, do I have to have magnolia? Is there any other oil that does help to calm? And the first thing you might think of is lavender, and lavender is wonderful. Lavender has got linalool in it. And actually what we see is that magnolia has 3 times the amount of linalool than lavender does. So yes, if you only have lavender, you can use lavender as well. But I would say, see if you can use that magnolia. That can help you a lot. Okay. Now let's get into the female reproductive system and understanding a little bit more about what's happening here in our reproductive system and what the role is here. So the female reproductive system involves the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, the genitalia, and our breasts as well. And they all work, this is part of the endocrine system. So they all work to produce all those hormones that we are very, very familiar with, estrogen and progesterone. And we have in our body, we have our own natural producing estrogen, and then we also have progesterone. So what's interesting is that for us, we have the estrogen is so important for regulating periods, for being able to produce children or to produce the eggs to make children. All of this is so important, because if our estrogen and progesterone are working beautifully, our cycles are nice and smooth, we're able to conceive well, postnatally, everything goes back really well. And you know what? It's a complicated system. And for our hormones to be in balance, our health needs to be in balance. So naturally producing, we have estrogen. We also in our body we have estrogens. And particularly, I want you to understand that there are other forms of estrogens that we can be absorbing. So we have our own natural form, and we also have the external estrogens. And so we have estrogens that come from plants, and they're called phytoestrogens, and they are naturally formed from plants. And the great thing about phytoestrogens is that they eat up bad estrogens. Who are bad estrogens? Well, we've got the nasty xenoestrogens. And what we have in our body is receptors that estrogen binds to, and then helps to send messages to the cell to do the certain job. So it affects, is a regular, directly affects the regulation for reproduction and for our cycle. And if estrogen is high, then it helps to, if it's too high, then progesterone helps to manage it as well. So what we're looking for is to make sure, if we've got these receptors in the body, we're making sure that these receptors are grabbing onto the good estrogen. But let me tell you something, the xenoestrogens, or xenoestrogens, are the nasty estrogens that we are absorbing in our toxins or in the world out there. And I hate to say it, but the world is full of the xenoestrogens. And these are, I sort of say they're like a bully estrogen, because once it's taken into the body, these receptor sites, you know what, they just want to grab onto any estrogen. They're not that fussy, just like whatever, give me the estrogen. And sadly, a naturally forming estrogen is a little bit like a shy kid in the playground. And if there's a bully, like the xenoestrogen, the naturally producing estrogen will just sort of walk away into the corner and allow that xenoestrogen to latch onto those receptors. And you know what? Then we're absorbing these xenoestrogens. And these xenoestrogens are pollution. They're in medication, they're in farmed fish, they're in plastics, they're in cosmetics, they're in perfumes, all of that jazz. So if you just have a little moment now and think about what goes on in your day, how many things do you, or xenoestrogens would you be in contact with? So might be the shampoo that you use, the body wash that you use, the face cream, the toner, the foundation, the mascara, the eyeshadow, the bronzer. That's just starting from that aspect, right? And then we go on to what's in our fridge. Have we got things covered in plastic? Are we drinking water from plastic bottles? Are we choosing food that maybe is from polluted soil? My goodness, I don't want to freak you out. Probably already have. Anyhow, so, you know, these xenoestrogens that we take in, remember that these are dominant. This is the bully in our body. So if these xenoestrogens are dominating, we're going to have some major health issues. We're going to have hormonal issues. We're going to have all sorts of problems with our periods, fertility, pre and post menopause. It's going to make it a rough, bumpy ride. So help. What do we do? What do we do? Nutrition and hydration is fundamental in balancing this out. And what we're looking for is to improve or to boost our phytoestrogen, because the phytoestrogens are naturally formed, and you know what? They are like a superhero. So they stand up to those xenoestrogens and they say to them, listen, you can butt out and get out of the way. I'm just going to pop very quickly to this slide, and I just want to show you what doTERRA has, this fabulous complex phytoestrogen. It's a natural form of estrogen, and it is mainly, I've got my little bottle here. It's a soy extract and flaxseed and pomegranate. So just let's have a quick little chat about soy, because soy's had pretty bad press, and rightly so, because a lot of the soybeans that are being manufactured or grown in the world are genetically modified. They've grown in soil that's not organic, and vast amounts of it. And so, you know, these soy products are actually detrimental, and they are also xenoestrogens. So be very, very careful if you're sort of thinking, oh, good, I can eat soy, that's going to help me. Please don't. Take it easy. However, the soy extract on another side, another angle, is very good because it's fermented soy, and it's what we need, because these phytoestrogens are superheroes in our body. They step in front of those xenoestrogens, they block them out, and then we absorb these instead of absorbing those xenoestrogens. Hopefully we just don't take those in anyway. So it assists to balance not only a deficiency of estrogen, but also any excess harmful estrogen metabolites, which is your xenoestrogens. And it minimizes unwanted symptoms associated with the menstrual cycle. So this fermented soy that it has inside here is brilliant, promotes healthy breast tissue and brings balance to hormones in both men and women. Good luck giving this to the men in your life. However, it will be very, very useful. So how do I use this complex? If you're going through perimenopause or menopause, this is awesome. In combination, sorry, I jumped a few of these slides, in combination with this little beauty, Clary Calm. And Clary Calm is a wonderful blend from doTERRA, and it's got bergamot in there, palmarosa, clary sage, lavender, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, cedarwood, and geranium, and fennel and carrot seed. My goodness, so many great oils in there. This is fabulous. I cannot give enough praise for the Clary Calm. I am in a perimenopause stage of my life, and I call it the hot stage, where I'm having my private summer even through winter. However, I got onto it very quickly, thought about the liver and cleanse my liver. You know, it's interesting, something like hot flushes can be brought on by drinking alcohol, because of course alcohol makes the liver have to work hard. So if you're going through anything like that at the moment, get rid of those toxins, ease up on that alcohol. It's sadly not doing you any favors. Get this Clary Calm and get your phytoestrogen complex. Those two together can really help the hot flushes, really balance out everything, as well as heavy periods. So if you've got heavy periods or going through that, PMS, cramps, I would rub the Clary Calm specifically topically on the area near my ovaries. So rub that in morning and night. And also there's reflexology point just in the bottom of your foot. So just near the ankle on your inside, the inside of your ankle, rub that Clary Calm in there and particularly do that at nighttime. And I think you will start to find over time that you will get some incredible relief. I'd love to hear some testimonials, and there are so many great testimonials from people all around the world who have had incredible relief from here. So, yeah, that's a very sort of basic sort of introduction to estrogens and phytoestrogens and all of that jazz. I hope that hasn't been too much for you to understand, but these products, brilliant. Honestly, I wish I had this when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, because I suffered from very painful periods. And I often hear mums saying, oh, I'm going to give my daughter an anti-inflammatory like a Nurofen or an Advil to take away the pain. But you know what? That's going to strip your daughter's guts and going to give her a lifetime of just bad habits. Get these products, get your daughters using these products early on, natural products. You are honestly the best gift and for your young teenagers. Another recommended product is Rose. Absolutely beautiful. Such a wonderful product. Applying over the heart. We talk about mood swings and just sometimes feeling a bit flat. And going through perimenopause, there are definitely days where I just think, I've lost my mojo. And I've had a lot of mojo all my life. I'm thinking, what's happened? I just feel flat. And I can't tell you how great the oils are, essential oils, in just boosting. I use all my citrus oils. This rose oil over the heart is just wonderful for emotional balance. Libido, oh my goodness. Ladies, we need all the help. If you've got great libido, sweetheart, keep it up, I say. But if it's going and there's just days where you just think, you've got to be joking, no way, you need help. And the oils are brilliant. So rose is another great one. Patchouli, I'm not a big fan of patchouli, but there's many oils. Please investigate more on how you can boost your libido and just feel a bit more like a woman. But I've got to say that when you've got the hormones in balance, you've got the estrogen still there, or at least stimulating with a lot of these supplements, you'll feel good. You'll feel better, and you'll feel, a bit more desirable. I always think if you feel desirable, then your libido's up, right? When you sort of feel flat and not desirable, it's not happening. So this is also great for menstrual discomfort and for promoting regular ovulation. I've got to add this one in, the bone nutrient. This is a super supplement that doTERRA does. And it's a great combination of magnesium and zinc in there as well. Look, this would be a must for me with phytoestrogen complex. I've taken many bone nutrients. Some of them actually, you have to be careful with calcium because it can also cause calcium deposits in your arteries, which is not great, particularly if you're going into menopause. The last thing you want to do is sort of clog those arteries up. Because heart disease is quite common in that time for women. But this is a great combination of calcium and zinc, the right amounts, and with the phytoestrogen, you'll find that your body absorbs. Your bone is active. The marrow inside the bone, the cells inside of the bone are active. We've got to keep them alive. I say that start the bone nutrient early in your life, and whether or not you're looking at your nutrients with nuts and seeds, not milk. Yeah, sadly, unfortunately, milk takes the calcium out. So focus on plant-based sources of bone nutrients. Really, really good. Something like broccoli, amazing for calcium. And think of it as putting money in the bank when it comes to bones. Keep going. I have a lot of women postnatal who are desperate to get their weight down, and so they reduce all their food intake. And in doing that, what happens is that they start to lose their bone nutrients, particularly post-breastfeeding. This is so important, because then when you hit menopause, there's nothing left in there, right? So please start this nutrition early so that you haven't got fractures later in life. It's all preventable. Okay, now let's look at the pancreas. So, it's interesting. We have these patches of our lives where, chapters, I should say, of our lives where, maybe we don't eat as well, maybe we gain weight, our metabolism through stress, it all goes a bit havoc. And the pancreas is extremely important because it produces insulin. And what does insulin do? Insulin works like a bridge to move the sugar out of the blood into the cells. And so we want this to be working really effectively. However, if our diet isn't great and you have lots of starches and sugars, you will find that then your body is holding on to that blood sugar or holding on to that sugar, and insulin actually gets overproduced and it doesn't become very effective. So what ends up happening is you produce too much insulin, you have too much blood sugar, too much sugar in your system, and it doesn't actually go into your cells. It's not broken down. And then you start to get that tummy fat. And I say adipose tissue in your trunk area. This is the most dangerous adipose tissue to have, particularly because it affects your immune. And what we're seeing is not only heart disease, but lots of cancers, lots of health issues really from that adipose. So get your pancreas happy. So firstly, do it through diet. And secondly, manage your blood sugar. So if you're going on that journey and you're like, I need help, I need support. So you're working with your diet, getting that cleaned up, taking out the sugars and the starches, putting more plants in, putting more protein in. Brilliant. Congratulations. These little beauties here can really help you. So we talked about Slim and Sassy before. Have a look here. Can you see that metabolic blend? Great. If you don't like taking it in the oil, in the water, take the soft gels. Awesome. And then you've got these three babies here, grapefruit, peppermint, and lemon, which are super in putting in your water. You already find that that's already in the Slim and Sassy anyway, but let's say you had these separately, that's what you've got. And it really does work. Cinnamon, cinnamon is amazing for helping to manage that insulin. So please choose foods that are low in the glycemic index, which means they don't get broken down into sugar very quickly. So they take a lot longer time. You have more sustained energy. But all of this, this is covered a lot more in our cleanse camp. So reach out to your doTERRA person and they can tell you a lot more about that, because if you're having challenges with your blood sugar, well, there's a bigger picture that we need to address. But if the body's having to deal with the blood sugar, then the hormones will be, challenged as well. And you will find that all sorts of things like infertility is affected. Let's look at the thyroid. Okay, so much earlier on, I talked about the thyroid being very important to production of energy and how you use energy. So, a lot of women, my goodness, I probably would say that every single client that I have has some sort of thyroid challenge, because usually overstressed. And usually when they go to the doctor, the first thing they do is they put them on thyroxine. So you're not producing enough thyroxine, and then we're going to stick you on this medication. And you know what? You can do it naturally. No, I'm not a doctor. Yes, you probably need to get sort of more clearance from your doctor. But if you can help yourself with food is your medicine. Yeah, your diet. Work on that down, reducing your stress level, getting enough stress, getting enough water, and then support your liver, adrenals, ovaries, pancreas with these amazing, amazing oils. So clove is like a anti-fungal oil, absolutely brilliant oil. And the myrrh is great for cellular. The lemongrass is great for anti-inflammatory. Frankincense is like the oil of the gods, we say, and it really helps for your metabolism and mainly cellular health. And I recommend a drop of frankincense under my tongue every single day just for my cellular health. But remember the lifelong vitality supplements, you'll find that the frankincense is in there as well. You can always add a little bit of help. And the peppermint, brilliant. If you wanted to help your thyroid, you could do a collection of all of these, 10 drops with fractionated coconut oil, and apply that to your thyroid. The thyroid sits underneath in your neck area. So you've got a series of glands, the lymphatic glands there, but also your thyroid is there. And that's where I would be rolling these little beauties there. I just sort of very quickly talk about the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system works to a bit like very, very closely with the liver. So it helps to move stuff out. And, you know, often when people come to me, I can see sometimes the ankles, around the neck, around the jawline, under the armpits. Sometimes the lymphatic system gets very sluggish because you're not looking after your liver, not looking after your system. So really important for the lymphatic system. And I think I spoke to you about the endocrine. So that can be a very handy little helper. But have a go of this little roller. Brilliant. And then we look at the pineal gland, which produces melatonin. So melatonin is brilliant because melatonin is the opposite of cortisol and helps to chill us out, regulate our circadian rhythms. And, you know, sometimes we get so revved up through the day that we haven't got that energy, or sorry, we've got too much and we can't unwind. So this is brilliant to use in the evening. So I love Serenity, and Copaiba is one of my favorite oils in just helping to relax me and to calm. I actually use it for, I'm not an anxious person, but I get quite wound up sometimes. So the Copaiba is incredible. It's a cannabinoid, works really well in calming us down. So meditation practice, sleeping in a room that's dark, using an eye mask. These two oils here, if you have a look at what's on our slide here, Immortelle and frankincense. Immortelle is amazing for skin, sunspots, and for wrinkles, all that jazz. It's got to be a must in your cart. But that also can help cellularly. So even though you're putting it on your face and to help you, it can really help with your pituitary gland as well. And the pituitary gland is at the base of the hypothalamus, at the base of the brain. And it's, as I said before, regulates stress, growth, and reproduction. So, you know, if you're stressed out, you're really going to affect so many things like your blood pressure, your energies, your sex organs. You just won't, your system just won't be doing the jobs that it's supposed to be doing. So please reach out to whoever helped you, you know, in your journey in doTERRA, and get more information about all these oils. Here's a great little summary of what we've been talking about here. And you can just see these wonderful products that can help us. Have a good look at that. Have a good read. I've been talking so much, and I hope that there has been a lot of information that, you know, has really resonated with you, and that you've sort of, there's been things. I think of this sort of topic as, or particularly today's share, is to be a little bit like a smorgasbord, right? So you might be in your early 20s and not even thinking about having children. You're like, oh, I'm not there yet. So these things may not apply. No problem. You work on the things. There are things here that are suited for you. Maybe the cycle needs to be regulated. So it's like, this is a menu. Pick and choose what you need. Of course, I'm not saying take all these oils at once. That's too much, too crazy. Look at what you need at your stage of your life and understand that we have these incredible products that are an amazing support. And I've got to say, I'm just so blessed that I have found these pure products through doTERRA. They've supported not only myself and my family, but particularly my clients that come to me. And I'm so happy that I have these tools that I can say to them, you know what, if you need help, I've got it. I've got an amazing array of products that are known, that are natural, that are not medications, and are cheap. Yeah. These are things that we can incorporate in our daily habits, and that can really add to our life. So ladies and men as well, if you're listening, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for, you know, wanting to be better and wanting to look after your health of yourself and your family. And I just hope that this is a wonderful start to your wellness journey. Thank you so much for listening today, and I hope to connect with you at some point in time. Take care.